Right. Well, this brings us to the relevance of angels for some reason. No, it does. It brings us there because Michele has really studied this subject. And not just studied, she has experienced those realms. And that's really well, tell us, Michele, because it's really the presence that you're talking about. Stand up, do you mind?
You know, we're talking about, Victoria mentioned the anatomy of the physiology of the human body, but the spiritual physiology of the world is much, much more complex. And we're talking about unknown beings and other aliens or ETs or other forms coming here. But one needs to return to something very important that I feel that's been missed by this whole panel. And that is that above everything is the creative force, God, whatever you want to call it. It is a divine realm that's on top. And I'm not an on top, bottom kind of person. I like to always look equal, but there is some kind of hierarchy. So tonight I would like to discuss angels. How many of you believe in angels?
Oh, wow. We have a whole angel crowd there.
Wow. Well, let's go. I'm going to tell you some interesting facts about them through my own experience. They are pure, divine, energetic messengers here to help us with our soul journeys, with consciousness, the microcosm of individual health and the macrocosm of the greater good, as everyone is mentioning. Why does it work, and why does it have to work this way? Because before you get to the macrocosm, before you elect or put in office who you want, no matter who that is, you have to work on your own heart at a smaller level, at the microcosm level. Now, how do we do that? We have help, and that's where we return to the angels. I have seen them as small as a hummingbird, and some are as tall as buildings. They are always all around us to help, to guide us. They come to us through sounds, telepathically. We think it's our thought, but it's actually an angel whisper, or an impulse, like Mitch would say. There are impulses. All of a sudden, someone grabs that person at the bus. That may be one of your angels saying, grab it, and you do it. You feel it in your gut, you feel it in your heart. And love, as I said, is the highest frequency. Here, we'll all agree on that. And that is the only frequency that is available to us in this third dimensional world to melt everything else and to move it. Now, angels have been strongly embedded in history, in our culture as well. They have been mentioned, written about, predating the birth of Christ by hundreds of years. They have been mentioned in the Book of Enoch. They have been mentioned in the Emerald Tablets. They are part of this culture. A recent study showed that 85% of Americans believe in angels. I think this audience has reflected about that as well. It was 85%. So let me tell you a little bit about the hierarchy of angels. If you could visualize a pyramid and divide it into 4 equal parts, you begin at the bottom with single messengers with single assignments. So think of a cultural, popular phenomenon of a movie, A Wonderful Life. You have Clarence comes down to help Jimmy Stewart's character to connect with his faith. Or Michael, John Travolta, an angel comes down to help William Hurt open his heart to love, the character of William Hurt. Then, following that, you go above another level to groups of angels who are actually assigned to go to different traumas in the earth to help with suffering in different areas. Above that are the 15 archangels, headed by Michael. Now, these angels, these 15 angels, each have a unique role, and they have legions and legions. It's so hard to imagine. I wish I could share my experiences and visions with you and take you there. But it's a beautiful scene to see the organization and the rallying all from a divine place, from a divine heart. At the top of the pyramid are the master angels, and I've been honored enough to be initiated into this group of angels. They have come to reveal themselves recently on this planet. They are the most powerful healers and teachers. They actually have the ability to bestow their abilities to people who are deserving in order to help be healers here at a miraculous level. I kid you not. Their main purpose is not only the healing, it's the movement of the soul and consciousness, so that this planet, Earth, can be saved and honored and move forward with all beings as part of it. So through their teachings, and they do have teachings, they teach about the truth of matter and creation. Thus, my conclusion and relevance to this topic
yes, that's what we're
is
looking for.
that the master angels are preparing us to embrace all other forms of the Creator's creations.
Thank you, Michele. Beautiful. Thank you. I do want to talk to.
Can we have another mic for
Yeah, here. Talk to because her talks have been dealing in the realm. I mean, with some of what Michele laid out, because their work deals with these other dimensions and the angelic and the ET. So I mean, there's a whole realm of hierarchy.
So I want to just continue from where Michele left off, or to emphasize what she said. When we talk about the consciousness field, everyone thinks there's like global consciousness is all of us, but we forget that there's actually many levels of intelligence. And Dr. Jack, in his book, The Keys of Enoch, talk about extraterrestrials, but also ultra-terrestrials, which are those kind of the angelic levels. There's also, some people say, extracelestials, many other realms. So when you think about the consciousness field that you can tap into daily, every moment it's there. In fact, we're all biotransducers constantly tapping into that consciousness field. It's not just us. I mean, yes, you get maybe a stronger vibe from the person sitting next to you, or your family, your spouse, but in actuality, it's everything. And universal knowledge, universal wisdom is all part of that consciousness field.
This is a very sensitive subject. As a matter of fact, this has been the consternation and the reluctance of governments to release information for more than 75 years, is because the spiritual connection is missing in most of the logic, which is dualistic and materialistic in the West. And I have had the opportunity working with the astronauts who've done consciousness projection from space to Earth, who claim to have seen beings of light, or what would be known in normal terminology as angelic forms or energy forms, that fit the description of the historic angel connection.
And some of them are actually, even now, most extraterrestrials, and again, Alan and I were just on with Dr. Jack on the UFO cruise, and we'll be doing some things more on Sunday regarding this. But, almost everyone's saying that they're at least operating in a fifth dimensional reality, even the ones, because they come through walls and windows. But what about what Dr. Jack says in the Keys of Enoch? What about a 24th dimensional reality? What about the legions of angels? And don't forget, one of the reasons this planet is not so great is not that God is just sitting here waiting for all the angels and us.
Or he went out of business by writing one book.
Yeah, but there's myriads and myriads and myriads of realms that he's dealing with, or that he or she, whatever you want to say, the Shekinah, the Holy Spirit, is dealing with. So we have to open our cosmology to realize we're just one small part of a greater universe. But at the same time, through non-locality, we can have infinite wisdom. We can connect with the angels. We can connect with other levels of intelligence. That's why many of you are here. So that is all there. A lot of it is just the opening of the consciousness awareness of that cosmology that will help you get there.
Now, we've been talking in generalities, and for those who are skeptics, I would simply point out to you there will be new film studies released on the life of Ingo Swann, who worked with the American government, who actually was part of angelic contact, the life of Dr. Andrei Puharich, equal to Carl Sagan in intelligence, head of Army intelligence working with John F. Kennedy, also had experiences but was forced to leave his position because he stated that the higher ultra-terrestrial realms are positive, not negative. The Hollywood preoccupation with the negative aliens has so divided humanity as to what is the real story that we have to put real credibility on the line. So what Desiree and I have done is we've had the opportunity to work behind the scenes with astronauts, leading scientists, leading shamans, and sociologists who will be coming out with an avalanche of new materials, like what Kurt Johnson said a few minutes ago. New minds are going to be looking in new directions for the realization that we are part of a cosmic family. And the mythological laughter curtain is going to drop away. We're going to realize that we are the angels already. We are the first representation of the avant-garde of a living universe, a living humanity that is cosmic, based upon the law and the word of love in operation.
Yes, no, thank you for that. Thank you both, because it is the sort of central question that Ron asked.